Hello, we are going to be continuing on with basic surface area formulas, focusing on cones, regular pyramids, and spheres today. So by the end of this lesson, students should be able to determine the surface area of cones, regular pyramids, and spheres. So we'll start off here with surface area of a cone. So when we have a surface area of a cone, it's pi RL plus pi r squared. Now, just as before, r is going to be talking about the radius of the base. Okay, so that circle at the base. Now, L is the slant height of a cone. So if you look at this cone here, the slant height is from the point down to the edge of the circle. Okay, so when we look at this particular cone here, right, we have a slant height, which would be 6, and a radius, which would be 4. So that would be pi times 4, because that's your radius, times 6, which is your slant height. And then we're going to add to that pi times the radius 4 squared. So 4 times 6 is 24, so that's 24 pi, and then 4 squared is 16. So 24 pi plus 16 pi gives us 40 pi square inches. Now, on the homework that you're going to be given, you're going to be asked to round to the nearest tenth. So you're going to have to do 40 times 3.14 in your calculator and round that to the nearest tenth, which is approximately 125.6 square inches. Now again, just like last time, if you use a pi button on your calculator, so yours is just slightly different, don't worry, your teacher will make sure that you get credit for that. Okay, just like before, we're going to look at the surface area of pyramids. We're going to look at two different types of pyramids, a triangular pyramid and a rectangular pyramid, just like we did with prisms. So this particular formula is 1/2 the perimeter of the base plus or times the slant height plus the area of the base. So if we look at this regular pyramid right here, okay, we have our base right here, right? It's the square. It's 5 by 5 by 5 by 5. And then we have our slant height right here labeled as 7 centimeters. So we can figure out all of these things from that, right? The area of our base we can figure out is just 5 times 5, which is 25. Our slant height is given to us as 7. Okay, and then the perimeter of our base would just be 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, which gives us 20. So if I want to find the surface area, right, we just need to put those numbers into our formula. So it'd be 1/2 times my perimeter of my base, which is 20, times my slant height, which is 7. And we want to add to that the area of my base, which was 25. So 1/2 times 20 is 10, times 7 is 70. So 70 plus 25, which is 95, and we are in square centimeters, right? We're still in area, so it's always going to be the square units, so square centimeters. Now, we're going to use the same exact formula when we're dealing with this triangular prism, right? The only difference is our base is now this equilateral triangle, which is 4 by 4 by 4. And if you remember back, we gave you a special formula for an equilateral triangle, okay? And that was the square root of 3/4 times your side squared. So this is the square root of 3 divided by 4 times 4 squared, which is approximately 6.9 rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay, so that gives me the area of my base. My slant height is given to me right here, right? The distance from the point down to the midpoint of the side. So that's given to me as 6. And then the perimeter of the base, this is 4 by 4 by 4. So 4 plus 4 plus 4, which equals 12. So then we just stick those into that formula that we were given at the beginning. And this is 1/2 times 12, the perimeter, times the slant height, which was 6, plus the area of the base, which was 6.9. So 1/2 of 12 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 6.9. So 36 plus 6.9 gives us 42.9, again, square centimeters. And then finally, the surface area of a sphere, right? A sphere is that three-dimensional circle, shall we say, or the ball, if you want to think about it in that way, right? And the formula for that is that r is the radius of the sphere. So if you look at the radius of the sphere, it's right here at 9. Okay, and the formula is 4 times pi times the radius squared. So it'd be radius of 9 would be 4 times pi times 9 squared. Okay, so it'd be 4 times 81, which is 364 pi square centimeters. Again, throw in that 3.14, and that would get you to 1017.5 centimeters squared, round to the nearest tenth, or square centimeters, right? Now, if they were to give you the diameter, right, tell you this diameter, you remember, you'd have to divide by 2 to figure out the radius and then put it in the formula. That's the most common tricky type problem that they give you with the surface area of a sphere. Next, you want to take your class assessment in Schoology. And last but not least, you should feel good that you only have 2 more weeks of school and that you're done with everything for this week. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.